Now we want to compute the cost per pupil. If we go back to sheet 1, we'll see that the directions tell us to compute the per pupil expenditures based on 502 students. So 2010, 2011, 502 students, this is how much we spent. So if we divide 8989 by 502, the amount spent by the number of students, we'll get a cost per student. So we're going to write a form. First we have to make sure that in this case we display our results as money or currency. That's already selected here. 2 decimal places for currency, obviously, and if you don't have the dollar sign showing in this box, make sure that you select the dollar sign. Then click OK. So now everything will show up as dollars and cents here with dollar signs. So we write our formula equals sum B5 divided by 502, close parentheses, $17.91 per student for art. Click and drag. This gives us our per pupil expenditure for each of the line items in the budget, along with a total per pupil expenditure for all of the educational expenses in the building. Now, this leaves out salaries, but all the expenses for materials, supplies, and equipment comes to this amount per student. Now we have to compute the cost per pupil for 2011-2012. By now you know how to do this. We want to make sure that we have our results displayed as dollars and cents. So we select the entire column, format, we don't want to format cells, currency, 2 decimal places. Notice there's no symbol here, and we want a dollar sign. Okay, so now everything's going to display as dollars and cents. We're doing 2011-2012 equals sum 10,989, cell C5 divided by 502 students, $21.89. Click and drag this. And there we have our per pupil computations for 2011-2012. Now we want to find how much of a dollar increase there was in these per pupil amounts from the 2010-2011 school year to the 2011-2012 school year. How much did it increase in dollars and cents? So that's a simple subtraction. We're going to subtract 1791 from 2189, and we'll find out how much of an increase there was. Again, we want to make sure that our results display as currency, 2 decimal places. Again, there's no symbol, so we'll put in the dollar sign. Okay. So our formula is equals sum G5 minus F5, close parentheses, and it went up by $3.98 per student in art. To compute the amount of increase for all the lines in the budget, again, we just click and drag, and we see that we have a $100.69 increase overall for 2011-2012 as compared to 2010-2011. In the last column, we're going to compute the percent of change based on the dollars. Now, based on the per pupil dollars, this percent of change will be the same as the overall percent of change, so this is a good way to double check that all of our computations have been correct. Again, the general rule for computing percent is the change, the amount of change over the original figure. So in this case, we'll be displaying our results as percents. We select the column, format cells, percentage is already selected, 2 decimal places is already selected, so we're good to go. The formula is equals sum the amount of change, in this case $3.98, divided by the original figure, 1791, cell F5. Click OK. 22.25%, that's the same as the computation based on these figures. That's what it should be. So we click and drag this formula, and we see that our bottom lines are the same, so everything is good. Last thing we have to do is just eliminate these unnecessary numbers here, and we have completed the activity. The last thing the directions tell us is to print the spreadsheet. To print the spreadsheet, we only want to print the information that we want to show. We don't want to print a whole bunch of empty cells. So we go to our spreadsheet and we select the cells that we want to print. We go up to Page Layout and we select Print Area. We set the print area. Notice that the dark lines change to a dotted line. This means that only this area of the spreadsheet will print. When we go up to the print command and tell it to print, only this area will display. Let's do one other thing as well. Let's give borders to all our cells. Format cells, border. The default setting is this thin line. This is a template which tells us where we want the borders to appear. We're going to select all the borders that are possible. And now you can see we have some nice lines available. When our spreadsheet prints, there will be lines available on the spreadsheet, and it will print only in this area.